Welcome back to the Your Girl Yaz podcast, the podcast to listen to if you're a female entrepreneur who's ready to attract more fun, more money, success, friendships, and amazing clients into your business. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I can add some more positivity into your day in this episode. Hello guys, I thought we would go straight in. Welcome back to another episode on the Your Girl Yaz podcast. You may see I've got a very lovely guest next to me on the podcast today. We have Fit with Chaz on Instagram, or I know her as my friend Charlie. She is an amazing content creator. She does UGC. I know her as the Cali Queen because she does so many amazing calisthenics classes, movements. Like, she's just so inspiring. Like, one of those people you see on Instagram and you just think, what a babe. Like, not like, oh my gosh, jealous. You just think, oh my gosh, such a babe. And she's just so empowering and like someone that I look at and I just think, yes, like I just bloody love you. So welcome to the podcast, Charlie.
Thanks for having me. Oh, I'm like going to tear up a little bit. I'm like welling up. That's so cute. Thanks for having me.
I was going to say, I feel like it might be one of those episodes because I feel like we have a really, really lovely relationship. And yeah.
There's always a tear or two. Good tears.
Always a tear or two, good tears. And Charlie is just one of those people that is so inspiring. And I just really wanted to bring her on the podcast because there's so many girls on here that listen that really, really love the episodes, that tell stories and that are around empowering people. And you are definitely one of those people. And I wanted to say, everyone, it's 9 p.m. in Australia. What time is it for you?
It's midday. It's 12.
12 o'clock. So we've got all of the time zones right now. So, my love, I would love you to do a little intro, tell everyone a bit about yourself and maybe a few things you're passionate about and that you're working on right now.
Oh, I'd love to. Do you know what? It's so funny that you introduced me as Fit with Chaz because genuinely that's how most people know me. And then when I meet people in real life, they're like, oh, hey, Chaz. And I'm like, I actually don't go by that. It's like, it's actually Charlie. But you know, when you're coming up with an Instagram name and you need it to stand out, I was like, this works. But yeah, it's so funny. I feel like I have two parts of me. I have Charlie, you know that trend where it's like the girl boss side of like cutesy thing and then the like really intense side. I have Fit with Chaz, who's like, all about fitness and content and working really hard and creating things. And then I have Charlie that just like likes to potter around at home and do her gardening. And as you can see, like look after her plants and, just really be really soft and kind of feminine. And I really feel like in that sense, I have this kind of yin yang inside me of just me, which is really cool. Hard to balance sometimes, but really cool. So the side I see more of is definitely the Fit with Chaz side, and that is because I'm self-employed, and it is, you know what that's like. It's all the time, never ending. And it's kind of all day, every day, but I absolutely love it. So I'm currently splitting my time between like doing the online coaching side of things, which I adore specifically within Calisthenics, and then doing my content for UGC, so for brands, which is so much fun. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that. And then obviously my kind of personal content, just creating things for my Instagram and my TikTok and to help other people. And so I feel like between those three things, I kind of never stop, never switch off. But it's super fun. And I think, at the moment, I said this to you before we started recording, I'm just kind of plodding along. Like the wheels are turning, things are going. There's nothing crazy that's happening right now, but sometimes I feel the most growth, and especially in like business and things, the most business growth comes from just ticking boxes, just ticking off habits, just getting things done, letting things compound. And hopefully one day, all of a sudden it will be like, oh, all of that hard work has really paid off. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. And now that it's sunny in London, I'm doing a lot more coaching outside, which is so much fun. So I'm having the pleasure of teaching loads of handstand workshops, lots of calisthenics, out in the sun. So spending my days just outside is, such a joy.
Oh my gosh, I just want to say to everyone, follow Fit with Chaz now on Instagram if you're listening, because so many girls I know struggle to make friends in their 20s, and I feel like Charlie is such a good, I'm like saying Charlie as if you're not here. It's such a good like example of being a girl in your 20s and just trying things and figuring it out and not having all the answers. And like same with me, I'm bloody just winging it.
Yeah.
And it's like we need more of that, more like, okay, let's just try things. And same, that's why I find your calisthenics journey so inspiring, because it's like you are a normal girl in your 20s, like, you know, just doing it and showing up for yourself. And I just think it's so inspiring. And I feel like where I was going with this is if you are a girl in your 20s, get yourself to one of the handstand workshops. If you want to make new friends, if you want to try something different, I feel like it really, really helps. And
Yeah.
I would love to hear a little bit more around your story, maybe getting into calisthenics and getting into this sort of whole world of, we can start with that and then go into the content if you want. But, you know,
Yeah.
how did you get into calisthenics? Because it's amazing.
Oh, do you know what? Everyone asks me this, and I actually really don't like the answer. My
Okay.
ex-boyfriend is a calisthenics athlete. Yeah, here we go. Roll the eyes. I have, no bad words to say. I won't even go into it. But he is a Cali athlete, and over lockdown, kind of actually before I met him, I've always been training, right? Since I was like 15, 16, always been sporty, always been in the gym. And then over lockdown, obviously everything got taken away, and I was like, oh, I really want a handstand. My mum did yoga, she did headstand, so I was like trying to draw in what I could, and I would train at home. That's also where I started my fitness page. It was just me at home working out, and I loved it. And then when I finally got back to the UK, because I was in lockdown in another country, when I finally got back to the UK, I was like back in the gym, met my then boyfriend, and he kind of started to show me a little bit about calisthenics. And it started with just wanting to get a pull up. And then I was absolutely hooked. Like, I was on this journey, because my absolute favorite thing about calisthenics is it's not like weightlifting. When you weightlift, right, you get in the gym. If you've been in the gym for a year or two, you know what you're doing. There's not much progression apart from lifting heavier weights, building bigger muscles, maybe stepping on stage, which was never really something I wanted to do. With calisthenics, there is always something more you can unlock in a really healthy way. It's always like, you've got one pull up, cool, now let's do 3, now let's do 5, now let's try a muscle up, now let's try a ring muscle up, now let's do, you go from handstands to handstand push-ups to handstand, like all these crazy things. So the potential for like growth, I was like, oh my God, this is something that could challenge me for so long. And I also think for women, there is nothing cooler than being able to move your own body weight in a way that people don't expect you to, because I am not someone that is, so there are a lot of incredibly fit, incredibly beautiful, really ripped, shredded women out there in the fitness industry. I don't look like that day to day, and I kind of enjoy the underestimation that comes with it. Like, the way I look, people wouldn't think that I could do it, a lot of the things I can do. And so I'm like, calisthenics is one of those things you can't cheat. Right? You can't cheat to get there. You have to put in the work and the time and the effort and the skills. So where it started with an ex-boyfriend, it has now grown into something that genuinely challenges me every day, something that I absolutely adore the process of, something that is not only about skills, but it's about strength. It's about, there's such a great community. I just feel it's a little bit cult-like in the best way. I'm like, I've been swept up into this cult of just lovely people who are constantly inspiring me to, do better. So yeah, it's been such a journey, and I've been doing it now, well, as I say, kind of since lockdown 2021. So
Which is
yeah, I know, right? But I'd say properly, I've been doing calisthenics for like a year and a half, 2 years. So yeah, it's just been amazing. Like, I have nothing but good words to say. And to anyone out there who's a bit like, wants to be fit but doesn't massively enjoy the gym, or is a bit stuck in their gym journey, just start looking at things like your pull-ups, your push-ups, your dips, because once you start to unlock those feelings, you'll be like, I know exactly what I want. So yeah.
Yes. And what would you say? Because I think it's so important for people to try different things. And I don't know, I'm just saying this a bit personally. I've been telling you I'm so interested in it and want to get into it more. So
I've seen your hand
let's say you've got, yeah, we're getting there, honestly. Charlie is actually going to be doing calisthenics classes on my next retreat, which I think is going to be amazing.
I'm so excited about that.
I know, I'm like, how cool. Like, a lot of retreats will have yoga, but I'm like, girls, we're doing calisthenics.
And also, like, calisthenics is going to blow up this year. Like, High Rocks had its time, running's had its time. I'm putting it out there right now. Calisthenics this year and next is going to be the thing that takes over. So we're ahead of the curve. I'm just saying that now.
Yes, and traveling where people live a bit more of a slow life. I've just been in awe of so many people doing calisthenics and like, moving their body in these crazy ways. And it's just so inspiring to just be putting yourself out there and showing up. And I think we can be a bit scared to do something out of the norm because, if you're doing a handstand in the gym or trying something, and I know I've fallen on my face a few times
Yeah.
now, I'm it's scary. But
Yeah.
what would you say is the best thing to do if you're a beginner and want to get into calisthenics?
Oh, there's no magic answer. It's just do it. Honestly, just do it. And
Yeah.
I think embracing the failure, right? My favorite thing is like the faster you fail, the faster you learn. So as you say, you've fallen on your face, like you won't ever learn to handstand or do crow or frog or any of those balances without falling a couple of times. But once you
Hmm.
fall, you know what you did wrong and you won't do it again,
Yeah.
or you'll do it to a lesser extent, or you'll go, okay, I need to learn how to bail safely, like how to get out of it. So it really is
Hmm.
like pick what you want from it, especially with calisthenics. Like I would say most people should start with trying to get a pull up, do a dip, body weight stuff, and hold a handstand against a wall. But if there's specific things that you want from it, you may not be bothered about the strength stuff, the pull ups and things. You may just want to do all the fun balances. You may want to mix a bit more of yoga with it. Like just start. And I also think, especially if you have some kind of fitness background, you will be able to do so much more than you think. Every time I try something new in calisthenics, I'm like, oh, okay, that's so much closer than I thought it was. But I wouldn't have tried it unless someone had said, go on, give it a try. So it's like, just do it. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn.
Yes, honestly, I love it. And anyone, just go follow Chaz for your
Yeah.
inspo and
Come
get
to my
yourself to a class.
workshops. We'll do it together.
I'm gonna be, I'll be there with everyone when I get back
Yeah.
in July that we're talking about. So, I actually wanted to also talk about you being a girl in your 20s. And
I'm just a girl.
I think just a girl, we love talking about being just a girl. And I just want to hear your experience of being in your 20s, how it's been for you, what you feel like you've learned. And I just think it's really nice for you to be able to share that.
Oh, yes, in my 20s. Wow. Do you know what? I had a little bit of a panic the other day because I am turning 25 in July, which is why I was so excited when you said you're coming
Oh,
back for July.
so am I.
Yeah.
I'm 25 in July too.
Oh my God, yay. So I was like having a panic because I was like, shit, I'm actually mid-20s now. Like I keep being, because I'm the youngest of my friend group, I'm always like the baby. And I was like, oh my God, we're actually like bang mid-20s. There's no
Yeah.
hiding it. And I was having this conversation with someone the other day and saying, when I was younger, I really thought that, by 25, I'd have a house, I'd be engaged, I would probably have a dog, I would like have this life set out for me. I don't think I ever knew what I wanted to do job wise. So it's not like I had this idea of a career, but I really
Yeah.
thought that I would kind of, these massive milestones would be ticked off. And it's funny because we're in this weird age where like some of our friends are getting engaged. My best friends just got engaged and like
Yeah.
so exciting. But then some of my friends are still actually in uni, like doing another
Yeah.
degree or going back to the beginning or starting over from a relationship that didn't work. And it's like we're in such a weird place where everyone's priorities are so different that I think
Yeah.
it really can make you feel lost in between all of it. And I would be lying if I said I didn't feel a little bit lost, especially at the moment, in various bits and pieces. But I also think that's been a common theme of my 20s.
Yeah.
In a weird way, I think if you don't feel lost in your 20s, something is off because it is quite literally a rite of passage. To have that feeling of like, oh, am I doing it right? Am I going in the right direction? What the hell am I doing with my life? Do I want to be with this person? Do I want to get married? Do I want to have kids? Do I want this career? Da, 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 da. Like all the questions. And that's what your 20s are about. Like you're not supposed to have the answers. I think like this idea of having it all figured out in your 20s, where has that come from? Because I don't know anyone that does have it figured out. Even my best friend who's getting engaged, who has this beautiful life from the outside, I know that there are still things that she's like, am I going in the right direction? Is this right? Da 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 da. We're having these conversations. Every single person is in the same boat, just in a different type of boat, whether it's career wise or relationship wise or finances wise. And I think it's so easy, like it's a tale as old as time to be like comparison is the thief of joy, but it's so easy to get swept up in what everyone else has or everyone else is
Yeah.
doing and to see that as your lack. And it's, someone else's beauty is not your ugliness. Someone else's gain isn't your lack. It's like everyone's got their own shit going on. And actually, it's got nothing to do with you. It's got absolutely nothing to do with you. Like it's, you have to stay on your own path. And that's where I think we go wrong. And I've definitely, you know, hands up, got that wrong a few times. But yeah, I also think that like this is where I go wrong personally. I think I always have to have everything worked out all the time. And I realized recently, so weirdly, sometime in January, February, I woke up one day and I was like, my frontal lobe's developed. I don't know what it was. I just have, and I can pinpoint the day to you. I was like, oh my God, it's here, it's arrived. And everyone who's not kind of like a little bit spiritual, a little bit woo-woo doesn't get it. Like I told my mum and she was like, okay. But honestly, everyone I speak to about it is like, yeah, that will happen. And suddenly I was like, oh my God, I see things so clearly now. Like I feel so different in a great way. I feel like all of the years of learning, everything that I've done, everything I've experienced has kind of come together to create this like just this knowledge of what I want. What I still don't have it figured out, right? But like what I want to do, who I want to surround myself with, that's a big one for me. And this understanding and realization that like you're allowed to be a work in progress. You're allowed to be a work in progress for the rest of your life if you want to be. You at no point have to be a masterpiece and have everything figured out. It's you are on your own journey. And I feel this feels like I'm preaching now, but I feel so like I feel so strongly about it. And you also don't have to kind of fix yourself in order to love who you are right now. Like I know that I'm a work in progress and I am by far, you know, by no means where I want to be, have everything figured out. That doesn't mean that I can't love the version of me that I am now and love the life that I have now, even if the whole thing changes tomorrow, even if my life turns upside down and I end up moving to Australia in 6 months, whatever it is, you know, you're allowed to love all the different versions of you because you are going to have so many versions. I think of it like TV shows. So you have like your seasons and your episodes or your eras. Yeah. Everyone loves to talk about like, I'm in this era. I actually love that because you're in your Australia era right now. And like, I'm in my...
you in right now?
I don't know. I was just thinking that. I think I'm in a very introverted, internal, like really protecting my peace. That's what I'm doing. I'm really protecting my peace at the moment. I've made some difficult decisions recently, all because I need to protect my peace. And I'm noticing that by putting myself first, which is something I never do, and prioritizing that, I'm watching things slip away and sometimes being sad about it, but knowing that it's for the best, whether it's relationships, friendships, a job offer. You know, I've stopped accepting gifted offers because I'm like, this just makes me busy and I don't get anything from it. And okay, it means I don't get to work with some cool brands, but then amazing things come from it because I've got time to do other things. So yeah, I'm really in my like protecting my peace and just, I say this to everyone, I'm just plodding along and I'm really happy about it. Like not every day has to be a groundbreaking day and that is okay. Yeah.
Honestly, and I just feel like there's so much, like obviously as a friend, like seeing Charlie's life, like I think we underestimate actually how much we achieve, and because everything's so fast paced, I'm like, even you know, having your own space in London that you're living in and the fact that you can afford your rent each month, like that is a celebration.
And it's beautiful and I love it here, and it's like I never thought I'd be in that position working for myself.
100%. And like, you know, let's celebrate. Like, let's talk about some of the things that you feel like the past version of you would have literally been like, oh my goodness. Like, what do you feel proud of that you've achieved in your life?
So there's a few different like categories that I could split this into, but if I think back to, so my youngest sister is 13 and I often think about how I was at that age because it's so different. It's hilarious. And I think, you know, she is this beautiful, like long blonde hair. She's taller than me. She's just gorgeous. And she looks like the girls you kind of see on TikTok, like beautiful skin blow up. When I was 13, I was wearing colored tights and I didn't even know what a boy was. Like I had no interest. But I think back to like the 13-year-old Charlie and I think she would think we're so cool. Like she would think we are so cool. The fact that we run our own businesses, like 2 businesses actually is what's going on, work for ourselves. We don't have to go into an office. I think she would be sad that we don't wear like cool suits all day. Like I had this vision of me wearing like hot pink suits. But
maybe you need to get one and just
maybe I
sit around the
do.
house in
Yeah,
it.
maybe I just need to have a power suit era at some point.
Yeah,
But
next era.
yeah. But I think she, you know, in terms of that side of things, the business side, some of the brands I've worked with, some of the things I've done, I don't think I ever thought that I would kind of film and edit and create for a living. But I look back at the things we were doing. We used to make videos when we were little. We used to make, what were they called, like video stars, like before TikTok. We used to do dance routines and stuff. And we found some of them the other day and I was like, I've always had that in me. I just never unlocked it because I didn't think it was like a viable career option until recently. So I think she'd think that is really cool. But also in terms of the strength and how far I've come with my body and how I feel about my body, because I was in the trenches for years and years and years about the relationship I had with my body, the relationship I had with food, the reason why I was exercising and why I was doing what I was doing. And I think she'd be so proud and in awe to see that now, like, I genuinely train because I can't wait to get my handstand push up. I can't wait to get a 1-arm handstand. I can't wait to do a muscle up, rather than how many abs do we have this morning? Oh my God, I've got this bit of cellulite, da 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 da, you know. And in a really odd way, the more I trained for goals and purpose, the more my body looked the way I'd always wanted it to. So it's like when you genuinely finally release that hold that you have over your aesthetic and the obsession of checking the mirror, body checking, fat pinching all the time, you find this sense of peace and then you get everything you wanted anyway. So it's a really weird concept, but I think that would probably be one of the biggest things. And don't get me wrong, I still have my moments with certain foods or with certain bits and pieces, especially around like parts of my time of the month I find really difficult body image wise. But where and again, where I've come from, looking back to where I am now, it's such a nice way to look at it. And I think we do get stuck in the constantly trying to push. Every time we achieve something, we constantly push the goalposts further, so it never feels like we've achieved. I'm so like, that's my problem, my biggest thing. I'm constantly right, done, next thing, rather than going, oh my God, that was amazing, like we've done, look at what we've done and look at how far we've come.
Yeah.
Definitely need to do more.
And it's how everything is though, isn't it? Because like I was listening to a podcast the other day, because everything is so fast paced, like if you want to order something, you can have it there within a day or less. Like there's just everything is so fast paced, like Amazon, Netflix, you can basically get anything you want in the world we live in. So it is like always on to the next thing. And it is so easy to lose like, okay, well, what have I achieved? And I reckon you could ask any of your friends, and I'm sat here as the friend, and like, oh my goodness, like you've achieved so much, and like looking at all of the amazing brands you work with, your strength, like the people that you've inspired, you showing up on your social media every day. I guarantee that people look at your content and smile. But because we don't see that, because we're just like doing the do when you're working in content and doing all of this stuff, it's like we often don't stop and think. And that's why I think podcast episodes can actually be really healing sometimes. Like I love being able to go deep into your story and your experience, and even coming on to the world of content, because I know a lot of people that listen have their businesses, they're aspiring business owners, they're girls that have big dreams. Like how, let's go with the advice you would give for anyone out there that wants to go for their big dreams or do something creative in this world.
Oh, okay. Same advice as starting calisthenics. Firstly, just start.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot more. Obviously, it's a lot more common now for people to be starting their content journey. When I started it, it was really like eyebrows raised, like who does she think she is? What's she doing? I think people care less now. But one of Robin's biggest pieces of advice is like, block everyone if you need to. Block everyone you know. Do the thing where you turn off, you know how like Instagram can find your friends via your contacts. Turn it off. Like start your page and just, it can. Like it can suggest you to people. Like just start posting. I saw this thing on TikTok that I loved that was like, if you were told that, or it was something about a lottery ticket, you might have seen it, and it was like, every time you post you get a lottery ticket, how many posts a day would you make? And people were like, I don't know, I'd probably make like 20. And it's like, okay, but every post you make could be a lottery ticket, because all you need is one. okay, maybe a little bit more. You need a message, you need a purpose, but like really all you need is one video to blow up. If your message, your purpose, your content is good, all you need is one video to put you out there. So if you think of every video, every post as a lottery ticket, just do it. And I found this recently. I've had a real thing where I've realized I stopped posting because I've been so stuck. A, because content's my job. I find it hard to have enough creativity left for myself. And I definitely need to prioritize that. But B, just because I kept thinking, well, that wouldn't be good enough. That's not a good enough idea. That content isn't good enough to go out. And then I see people with less followers than me who's in my not that it's not a comparison, but we've got very different content styles, whether it's better, whether it's worse, whatever, posting more and getting more from it just because they're showing up and they're and I'm like, okay, my content can be great, but if it's not going out, it's not being seen. So yeah. And my last piece of advice is like, give people personality. I recently did a series of like I was going to do like 30 days to the back walkover, like starting from and I actually had to stop that because of my hernia, but people loved it because I was talking to the mic. People got to see who I was behind the pictures. When I'm doing pull-ups, you have no idea who I am. You have no idea like my personality, my sense of humor, like what I'm like. Whereas when I was mic'd up, and not that you need mics, but where I was talking to camera, it allowed people to get a glimpse of me. And they really enjoy that. Like people really enjoy you because at the end of the day, anyone can make good content. It's actually not hard to make good content, but no one can make good content like you because there is only one you. So you have to put it out there for people to see that though. And that's where I keep getting stuck.
Yeah. And it's such a like battle, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, we are not a bloody robot. So when, especially as like, nothing against guys, but I'm changing so much all the time. Like I could, if I'm on my period, I'm a completely different person
Same. Yeah.
to the weeks that I'm not on my period or the week before my period. I'm awful. I'm just like so emotional, and I'm like, what's going on? And it like creeps up on me every single month, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So it's like we're constantly just doing our best, and when you then go on Instagram and then you see that person's posted on that day and everything's going well and maybe you're feeling a little bit crap, it's like, this is what I really want to do more research on and like studying around like the nervous system, neuroscience, everything, because what is going to happen to our generation if it's like this constant pedestal of like trying to be the best versions of ourselves and try to post and stay consistent when actually
more
sometimes
all
what
the
we
time.
need is what we need is to take a step back. And I think a lot of people maybe are getting to the point where they do feel burnt out or they're struggling. And, as a amazing content creator, as someone in this space, what are your thoughts on this topic of like the burnout of, trying to show up, but also coming back to yourself?
Oh, burnout is so real. I think I didn't realize it until I really hit it. I can't even remember what it was, but I hit it hard. And it was like, I just have nothing. I have nothing to add. I've got nothing to say. I have no content that I feel. I think it's that lack of inspiration. When you're a creative, you know whether you've hit, the extent of hitting burnout. Because obviously you'll go through moments of not feeling super creative. But when you just have weeks and months of like, I'm numb. There's nothing to it. And that's really sad because what I love doing is creating content. I love filming and editing. I love coming up with new fun ways to do things. But you're right. I think like we as a generation are really going to hit that hard at some point because we're constantly being exposed to fast all the time. And at some point we're going to go, I do think we're edging closer and closer to a time where social media is really going to change in a way that we're not expecting. I really think that people are going to start looking at slowing down again at some point over the next 5 years. I think there's going to be a massive shift. I don't know how it looks or what it's going to be like, but I think that's going to happen. And I think the biggest thing for like creatives to try and avoid the burnout is sometimes you have to actually get off. I know it sounds so silly, but get off the app. So often I'll be scrolling. I'll be like, I'm just getting ideas. I'm like, just, collecting ideas and seeing what's out there. And obviously you're just doom scrolling. The most creative I ever am is when I'm not on it, when I'm just out there doing my thing, and I'll suddenly be like, that'd make a really good content idea. And I think it's a mixture of not being overwhelmed by what everyone else is doing all the time, and the fact that when you free up that space in your brain, you can start to come up with your own ideas, so you're not regurgitating other people's either. So it actually is, inventive and creative. So much of social media is regurgitation, right? This trend at the moment of like the narration of like, this is Charlie, she is 25. Like, I love those videos, but it's lost all concept, because it doesn't even need, those videos don't even need to have a good story anymore. They just need it to be formatted correctly. So it doesn't even matter what the person's saying. It's like, is your text cool? Is your font like, and that to me, I'm like, okay, we've lost it now, because it's not even creative anymore. It's just regurgitation. So finding a way to really step back, and it might be different for everyone what they need to feel creative, but kind of taking some time to look inwards and be like, when do you feel most creative? For me, it's when I'm out and about, when I'm seeing, touching grass and seeing nature, and when I'm training, and when I'm surrounded by people who have similar mindsets to me, when we're training outside together. But really, I'm most creative when I'm not looking at my phone, when I'm not, I had this thing last night where I was like, I feel so overwhelmed, because I opened TikTok and I opened Instagram, and between having a fitness account and a UGC account, I'm being told, this is what you should do to blow up, and here are all the things I can do that you can't, and all the time. And it's exhausting to be, you think you're having downtime, and you're actually still being told you're not enough, or you could do more, you could do better. And it leads to this false sense of like, I need to be on all the time, which is just a one-way ticket to Disasterville.
But it's a one-way ticket of a train that a lot of people are
Everyone's
on, because
yeah.
yeah. And I think with the business as well, like even for me, it's definitely been a struggle of like, even though I'm teaching people to slow down and I want to slow down, you are getting pulled in so many directions, and like you open your phone and it's just there. So it's like you have to constantly be mindful of it. And it almost does sometimes take for you to get to that point and be like, okay, what is going on? Like, I never want anyone to get to this point. But I feel like in business, it's like, there's no rule book, there's no one telling you when to switch off, there's no rules or regulations. And it's like, just, I don't know, we're all out here just doing our best. Sorry, it went off on a complete tangent there.
It's so hard when you're self-employed, because there is always more. There's always more that you can do, always. And there's, the great thing about being self-employed is there's no ceiling, right? There's no cap. It's not like, oh, okay, whether I switch off at 5 p.m. or 9 p.m., I'm still going to take home this salary this month. It's like, there's always more to do. There's always more people you could reach out. There's always more leads to generate. There's always more content to create. But at what point do you weigh up, like, how are you actually showing up? Because by doing more today, are you showing up as a worse version of yourself tomorrow? I've started to realize that if I don't take some genuine time, I'm trying to actually take 2 days off at the weekend and have a normal weekend like everyone else, because if I don't take those 2 days off, I can't focus. All the editing, I've got 3 videos to edit for a brand, let's say, and it will take me 5 days instead of 2 hours, because I'm so overwhelmed. I can't come up with the skills I need. Whereas actually, if I just took a day off, I took 2 days off. That's what I did this weekend. I actually took Bank Holiday Monday off. And when I came to my desk this morning, when I came to my desk this morning, instead of being really overwhelmed, I looked at what I had to do and I got it all done in an hour. Because I was like, oh, that thing that was taking me so long on Saturday, because I was trying to work when everyone else wasn't working, it's actually not difficult. I just needed some rest. And I think we all think we're super women and superheroes. And actually we are in our own rights, but we're not machines. As you said, we're not robots. And like, there's a reason why we love slowing down. There's a reason why we love sunbathing or reading, or I love gardening and tending to plants and things, because it's just slow and you can't rush it. Like, that has taken like 5 years to grow. You can't rush it. I bought it when it was 1 leaf, and that's why I love it, because I'm like, there's so much beauty in that. Like, that's not rushing, and look how beautiful it is.
And it's like what we were saying about it being so fast paced. It's like we are losing that. We feel like everything just comes straight away.
Instantly.
And I know for me, working with a lot of girls in this industry, and even for me at the start, I was like, right, I want to be fully booked, I want to have this, I want to have that, but it takes time. And now I'm so chill. I'm like, I think I have been chill for a while, because I'm like, I'm just doing
You are
me.
super
Whoever wants
chill.
to come,
Yeah.
come into my world. But I was listening to a podcast, and we're always like listening to a podcast on TikTok,
Yeah.
and it's like we all think we're the exception. Like we all think that actually we'll get away with it, or we'll
Oh
be
my God,
fine, or like,
100%. That we can
yeah.
operate differently. Yeah.
But it is a wild world, and I just feel like it's really nice for anyone listening to have that awareness that if you are struggling, like, just know that there are people like us that you can reach out to, and it is just a safe space, and we're going through it as well. And I guarantee, like, all of the people you look up to are just having these battles and different things as well going on in their lives. But I want to put a little spin on it now and see, what you're excited about, and see like what going against maybe the normal life of the 9 to 5, and your story with that. Like, were you doing a normal job before you were doing all of the creative things you're doing now?
Yeah. So I went to uni and I got my degree in sports science, and I
Yeah.
finished and graduated during COVID. I often joke that the only reason I actually graduated was because of COVID, because I'm so bad at exams. Everything was open book and online. It was great. But I then went to do a year as a teacher, which I loved. I went back to my old school, and I say a teacher, I was like a graduate, because obviously I didn't have a PGCE. So I essentially taught all the kids sport, and I worked in the boarding house, and I got to teach them sports science. So I saw the kids in their best form, like on their favorite lessons, and I got to be the fun teacher, and it was so much fun. Like, it was a year of so much fun, and I have made friends for life from it, in terms of the other grads that I was teaching with. So much fun. But I also had this realization of, I'm too young to be here forever, and I'm
Mhm.
too young to get stuck here. I had only left that school for 5 years before, maybe even less, like 3 years before. So some of the kids there still knew me as Charlie, and I was like, you have to call me Miss now. So I was like, I'm too young for this. But I would go back to teaching, if everything changes, and if I decide I'm done with the self-employed life at some point, I would go back to teaching, because I loved it. And I then went to work in the gym. And so that teaching gig was the only time I've really been fully employed. I have worked since I
Yeah.
was 15, doing bar shifts and restaurant shifts and anything I could, really. But that was the only time that I was fully employed. And as much as I loved it for the kids, I loved it for the other teachers. I hated with a passion being told, especially at school, right? There's no leniency. You can't really be ill. There's no, I need to take time off to go here or to go there. Like, I hated being told when I could have time off, and when, right, these are your
Yeah.
holidays. Like, okay, private school holidays, because I was teaching at a private school, they're great, but it's only great if all your friends and family are also teachers. Otherwise, you just have 4 weeks off over Christmas doing what? Like, you're so lost while everyone else is working. And that's why I think, like, we do so well, because we've created this network of other self-employed girls, so we can be like, do you want to go for lunch on a Tuesday? And it's so fine.
Oh,
It's so nice, isn't it?
Honestly, I miss our little London
I
dates.
know,
Like,
we
we'd all
miss
meet
you
up,
here.
we'd go for
Soon.
coffees, we'd play work.
I never get any work done on those days.
I know, we literally like bring our laptops, and they're basically props, because
Yeah,
we're all like,
100%.
but that's what's fun, and sometimes that is what you need as well. It's not like I'll go away from them days and feel so motivated. Like, it
And
is
so
sometimes,
inspired. And so, like, we've
yeah,
had a moment to talk through problems that, my other friends don't understand, my family don't understand, because they're not in the same, we're all in a different world in terms of what we're doing, but we're all kind of in the same thing. Our circles overlap, and we've got something in
yeah,
common. So it's so nice to be able to chat about that.
yeah.
Yeah. And so then from teaching, I went to be self-employed in a gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I then went to be a personal trainer. So while you were technically employed by the gym, you weren't at all, because you had to pay rent to be there. And then all of your clients, everything you earned from your clients was going straight to you. So I actually chose the option of working 15 hours a week there for free, so that I didn't have to pay rent, because that to me just seemed ludicrous. And it was great. And it was a mixture of luck, and I need to give myself some credit, because I was the only other female PT there, and she was fully booked. So when I got there, quite soon I was quite full, because a lot of people want a female PT just for no reason other than they want a woman. But I kept and maintained a really steady client base for the year and a bit that I was there for. And everyone would say to me, all the guys would be like, well, you're just lucky. And I was like, I'd be, luck is just getting them, but it's talent and it's understanding and it's compassion and it's kindness and it's genuine care and friendship with my clients that kept them with me. Most of my clients were with me for the entire year and a half, and a lot of them are still with me online. So it's like, well, luck only gets you so far. Okay, I'm lucky I was a woman, but also for most of my life I've been unlucky that I'm a woman. So I will take this one. I will acknowledge that being a woman helped me out here. And so I did that, and then alongside that I was building online, so just having people there. In-person PT is really expensive. I was really frustrated with how inaccessible it was to be healthy, essentially. Obviously, you don't need a PT, but a lot of people don't know what they're doing. And social media is great for that. But there's also so much information out there that it's confusing. It's like someone's showing you how to hip thrust this way. Someone's showing you not to do it that way. Someone's telling you don't hip thrust at all. Someone's telling you should be doing it 4 times a week. It's like, oh my God. And I got frustrated with the fact that I'd have these lovely clients and I'd only see them for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week. And the rest of their life, what are you doing with the other 23 hours a day? Health and fitness, and as we now know it, wellness, is so much more than what you're doing just in the gym. So I was building my online side of things to help people out. It was a lot cheaper and it meant that I could help you around the clock. And then I had surgery and it took me out of the gym completely for 12 weeks. And I was like, shit, I'm self-employed. That's it. So fortunately, I'd been building for long enough to be able to move online. I then had another surgery and then moved to Bali because I was like, similar to you, I was like, right, come on, time is now. Let's just get up and go and let's do it. And I have this online business. In hindsight, so I moved to Bali with that calisthenics boyfriend at the time. And in hindsight, my business and my relationship were not in a place that was strong enough to survive that. So I did 3 months there and then I came home and I left all of it there, including him. And it was the best decision ever. And then when I came back, I lived with my parents for 3 months where they were, and then I moved to London. And I thought, okay, this is it. Like I don't think I ever gave myself a like, right, you've got to make this work in a year. It was just like, this has to work. This doesn't have an option of not working. So that mindset has really carried me through. And when people ask me what I do, I find it really difficult to explain. So I just say, I kind of wing it every month and hope that it works. And so far it is. So
yeah. And that's the thing, but you put yourself in so many uncomfortable positions that you know that you will get through it. And like we're talking about, like 20s is messy. Like I don't know where I'm going to be in a bloody year's time. Like who knows? And I do think it's like embracing the messiness, and I've learned really to let go of a lot of things. Of like, I used to really really want to have control of my business, and traveling, the Wi-Fi might not work at some places, or even when I tried to log on to the Riverside, it was like, your Riverside is banned on this Wi-Fi, and I was like, well, no, not today, hon. luckily it said like use anyway. But it's like things that have been out of my control, traveling and running a business, it's like, well, what can you do? Like, you just got to enjoy yourself still, and it's literally your perspective on things. And I do feel like perspective is the biggest thing. Like, you could have the same day as someone else, and someone could say it was the worst day in the world. Someone could say that it was the best day in the world.
Yeah.
And I just think as well, like, I wanted to talk to you around the girl mentality of like, why I had this question in my mind of asking you why you love being a woman, and like what the girlhood, what girly things means to you.
Oh my God, what a beautiful question. So I have been really embracing my feminine side and feminine energy. And it has led to so many just like beautiful things. And I think the biggest thing is perspective. I have been, and so I'm kind of taking after you, right? The way you were saying when you and G were out there, you were like little dollies and like having a great time. And just, I love that. I'm trying to see everything in this like pink mist of like just girly fairy dust, right? Everywhere. And I have this thing called my golden bubble that I imagine, those zorbing balls that you can get in. Do you know what I mean? When you like go zorbing and you're running around in like a hamster wheel. It's like that, but it's golden and nothing can get in. Like only good things can get in, and all the negative stuff bounces off. And when I'm having a hard time, I try and think of it like that. And I do think that that's inherently only a girl thing. I don't think any guys are sitting there thinking about their golden bubble. And if they don't, I would suggest they do, because it's a great mentality to have.
Love
But
it.
I
I
just
keep thinking of, sorry, the like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like the golden egg. Like,
mm,
I want to be the
like
golden
that,
egg.
and it's all sparkly and
Yeah,
shiny and beautiful. And I just think
love it.
I've been embracing, I think so much of what I do and who I am is inherently quite masculine because we run our own businesses. We have got bills to pay and shit to do, and the only person that's going to do it is us. And then
Mm-hmm.
trying to switch off and be more feminine, be more in touch with, the maternal side of things. So I've started gardening. I've like actual gardening, not just house plants. And I'm like, I feel so at peace because we as women were meant to do things with our hands. We were meant to make and create, and we have that nurturing maternal side of us. And it was like, short of getting a dog, like how do I do that without having to,
Yeah.
look after something like that? And I've been doing a lot of workshops and coaching female specific calisthenics meets, and it's been amazing just having, you really notice a difference in energy. Like I would say the calisthenics world is really supportive, really really supportive. So when you go to meets with guys, it's not like walking into a gym full of guys. Like they're lovely, but
Yeah.
there's such a difference when it's just girls, because all the girls
Yeah.
really let their walls down, they really get involved, they're not scared to fail, it's not who's watching, everyone is so supportive. And I come away from that just feeling so whole. Like one workshop I did a few weeks ago, I was supposed to be teaching handstands, and the other girls, there were 6 of us coaching. It was a big event. And towards the end, I was showing one of the girls how to do something on the bars. And slowly but surely, like we formed this little group and everyone was watching. And then everyone, like all 60 girls that had come to the event were watching us, me coach this thing. And honestly, one by one, they were all like, I want to try. Can I try? Can you teach me? Can you show me? And I have never felt such like joy for helping girls get like over a bar. We were literally trying to get over a bar. That was all it was. But it was that inherent like girls supporting girls, feminine energy. Everyone was cheering. Everyone was like filming or just having a great time. And I was like, this is what I love about being a girl. Like the sense of community and the pride. And when we get over our early 20s, late teens, when we're all in competition with each other, when we get to the point where we can genuinely lift each other up without it meaning anything negative about your journey, that's what I love about being a girl.
Mm-hmm. And it's so special, and I've got an image of you at the
It
retreat.
was
Like I've got lots of
so
images of you
excited.
at the retreat, and I've got images of you at the last retreat when you got your pencil out with like it was like a
Oh,
beautiful
big fluffy pink thing on it.
yeah, and you're journaling away with your big fluffy pencil, and then you and Robin bought like the most cute
Yeah.
dogs from Tiger, and we all just went like this retreat was so cute. Like we all just went into Tiger and were just like buying girly things and like going for our matches every morning and like just
And
actually being girls. And I think like I know so many of my friends that aren't in this bubble that we've created or like just going through life and don't feel safe to just be girls, feel like they have to be have adult chats and talk about your 9 to 5 and talk about getting a house when it's like actually
we're
wouldn't we
just
all rather
girls.
just be like just be girls and be coloring and like making candles
Yeah.
and
And
I
you say about your
yeah
last retreat, I'm looking to do a retreat for my online coaching girls, which I'm so excited about. Just a weekend, and every time I think about what I want it to look like, I just think your retreat and the way that we did it, like that.
yes
I want that with like more of a fitness, less of a mindset. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's it. That's the environment. And I think that's why we got on so well. Like that was the first time I ever met you coming to your retreat. And it was like I'd known you forever. And I think that's a huge testament to you and the kind of, I mean, I've said this before, right? But the energy you have and the person that you are and the love that you bring and the fact that you had cultivated and created this group of girls that had never met each other, but we genuinely felt like sisters by the day we left. Like from the day we arrived, I felt so comfortable. And it was like, yeah, I just think I'm in awe of you for that always.
Hello, girlies. I am so sorry this episode was cut short by a few minutes. The last bit of the episode didn't record, but I still wanted to do a follow up and say thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast episode with the lovely Fit with Chaz. She is such a beautiful soul, and I'm so grateful we were able to do this episode. She's so inspiring, has so much love to give, and I feel like she's just the perfect example of being a girl in your 20s, trying to figure things out, running a business, living life, and just being honest. So thank you so much, Chaz, for coming on the podcast. If you're listening back, if you haven't already, you can go follow her at Fit with Chaz on Instagram and follow all of her inspiring content, the calisthenics content, and all of the amazing work that she does. Thank you guys as well for listening and supporting the podcast as always. I actually had a little week off, and on reflection, it made me so grateful to everyone that listens and being able to record these episodes each week. So thank you so much wherever you're listening, whether it's YouTube, Spotify. It means the world to me if you could leave me a little review or like this episode if it's YouTube. And I'm forever grateful that you're listening and supporting. But thank you so much. If you ever need any extra mindset support, you can always book an Empower Hour with me or message me on Instagram at Yasmin Lily Hilston. And I'm always here. But anyway, love you lots, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode on the Your Girl Yaz podcast. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 a.m. UK time, so I look forward to seeing you back here. I also have a free higher self meditation course for you to learn to meditate, to relax, to switch off, that's available for you to access now in the show notes. And also don't forget to follow the podcast wherever you're listening, rate, leave us a review. I appreciate it way more than you could ever know. Thank you so much again for listening. If you've got any feedback of the podcast, my Instagram at Yasmin Lily Hilston is also linked in the show notes, and I really appreciate it.